What I'd like to talk to you about today is the biggest mistake that I see with developers developing buildings. And there's a case history I'm going to talk about, which is number 19 Colombo Street in Mitcham. Now, I had a very good client who was extremely excited. He came to me and he'd obtained a permit and he'd spent a significant sum of money. And the permit was for buildings 10 or 12 levels high, and the buildings were elliptical, and the units were going to be about 200 square metres, and the building was in Mitcham. And when this client came in and showed me the plans, it was a beautiful piece of architecture. However, I said, this is not going to sell. If you build this, you will make a commercial loss. And of course, his face fell. And I said to him, he should have written a cheque out to me for $500,000 and I would have saved him $1 million. And the gravity of the situation really hit home. And I said, look, this is what we do. I said, let's introduce you to an architect who understands the brief, and they'll design a building that'll be a screaming success. And do you know who that architect was? Hayball. And here is Len Hayball and Sarah Buckeridge, the directors of Hayball Architects. These guys built a building. It was a ripper, wasn't it, Len?
Well, it was interesting, Paul, because when you introduced the client to us, it was clear that the permit that they'd obtained was a good one in the sense of built form and development intensity, but we could readily understand that it was not going to be a saleable product. So it was then a question of looking at how you could deal with a site which was quite difficult, a railway line along the western boundary, the southern boundary, industrial commercial development to the east and south, and so it was constrained, but we realised that it needed to be the sort of product Paul was talking about, which
and this is what I really like.
Smaller units.
Len and Sarah ring me and I ring them, and we work together all the time. And Len and Sarah will say, well, what do you think is going to sell best on this site? So we'll talk about the number of 1 bedrooms, the number of 2 bedrooms, how many square metres, the level of finish, do we do 3 bedrooms, any retail component on the ground floor, will office work, yada, yada, yada. And when I give the brief, these guys listen and understand, because I've had it before where I've given a brief and the client's gone off and they come back with a permit and you look at it, I can tell, one look.
Yep.
I know whether they're going to make a profit straight away as you can. And so what Len and Sarah do is they understand the site, they listen to what I have to say, and then they go about designing a building that's going to make the biggest commercial profit for our client, but a building that's still going to be a great looking building, efficient.
Yeah. Paul, we really went back to first principles and thought, how are we going to design and site this building so that we can have smaller units, but not necessarily have to turn it into a higher building, which was going to cause all sorts of complex problems with planning approvals.
Conflicts means time, time means money.
Exactly. So what we did was we arranged 1 bedrooms, which were around 40 to 45 square metres.
45 metres,
really quite small, but well suited to the location because it was affordable. People could get on the train and get into the city or their places of education. It was really convenient for people. And then we had 2 bedrooms, which were around 60 to 65 square metres again, which meant that they were affordable units, but which was still really had good amenity. Because what we did was we arranged it around a big common courtyard. The way the site worked meant that they could have the advantage of a fantastic landscape courtyard in the centre of the site without actually having to get into a high building floor.
You guys actually make it look easy. I mean that sincerely. And you design buildings that are fundamentally right, because the other thing we could talk about too is the buildings that you design are efficient to build in terms of spanning concrete, reinforcement, mechanical services, all of that.
That's really important, Paul, because you have to make sure that all the structure and the services is really efficient, because you want to actually leave some opportunity to invest in the facade materials, the quality of the architectural design. That's what people experience, that's what they enjoy when they live there.
They don't look into the concrete, do they?
So
they look at the front of the building.
It's just important that those things are worked out at the beginning and that the plans are really buildable and really thought through.
Well, the thing to remember too is that we've been involved involved in medium and high density housing in Melbourne, all over Melbourne.
How long, Len? How long have you been doing it for?
We became involved in the early 90s when it was the regeneration of Melbourne with housing. We were there at the beginning, so we were one of the first architects to be involved in medium and high density housing. We're now working in Brisbane and Sydney. So that experience means that we do understand how these things get built. We work closely with the builders that our clients use and we use. So we do have that accumulated experience and we try and bring it to every project.
How many years have you been doing architecture for, Len?
Too many. I'm not going to say.
You've got a few more of these on the side, Len. But let me tell you, the building that was finally designed at number 19 Colombo, I think it was 220 apartments.
Yeah,
200 apartments. We sold them out in about 6 weeks to 2 months.
Yep.
It was a complete sellout. The building was built. It looks fabulous, and we'll show you photos of how the building looks. The developer made a handsome commercial profit, which is the reason why he did the building in the first place. The council were happy, and the people who have bought them and the people that live there love it, because it's in a fabulous location. So you designed the right building for the location, and it was a screaming success. Now, that's about it, isn't it, Sarah?
Yeah, just to say that really we found it really satisfying to be able to design something that was actually able to get built in a location where that kind of housing hadn't been provided. And now it's acted as a bit of a catalyst for that area which is starting to develop. So
we also got a lot of satisfaction out of knowing that we retrieved a situation where a client was really in a bit of a dark hole, and to show a way out and then for it to be a success both commercially and from a design point of view gives us a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for 35 years, and I know when you have a win with a client, they stick to you like glue, because they know that you've got their interests at heart and they're going to make a profit.
Yep.
Is that particular client used you again?
Yes.
How many more times?
Well, at least on the third project.
Yeah, we're now working on the fourth project for that client. So that's been an ongoing relationship, which is really good.
Yeah, they don't go anywhere else. They get the magic formula. They have the right consultants for the job.
And I think it also reinforces the relationship we've had with your firm, which is a strong one, and we get mutual benefit, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, look, we have a lot of fun, and Lenny will ring me, and we have code words for certain types of units, and it's almost like the acronyms, and I won't say what they are, but the point about it is that I know that when you guys design a building, you are thinking all the time about an efficient building to make the most profit, not about something that's going to be unbuildable, and the clients don't realise that because you're doing that automatically. That is exactly what you do, because that's your total understanding of the process.
Yeah,
absolutely. It is. It's good to be here with Sarah Buckeridge and Len Hayball, and if you're a developer that wants to make a bigger commercial profit, between the three of us, I think we can find a solution to make you more money.